Imagine this, the one person you trusted more than anyone, the one you called your brother, the one who swore he'd die for you, standing in a courtroom, pointing at you and saying, "Yeah, Marcus pulled the trigger, not me." They always say betrayal cuts the deepest, but no one ever tells you how it feels when betrayal comes from the person you would have taken a bullet for. Pause. Slow, haunting music builds in the background. Marcus and Dre weren't brothers by blood, but in their neighborhood, everyone knew they were inseparable. They grew up on the same cracked streets, in houses where the lights flickered more than they stayed on. As kids, they dreamed big. "One day, bro, we're gonna leave this place," Marcus whispered as they sat on a broken curb, sharing a bag of chips. "And when we do," Dre grinned, "I'm buying Mama a house so big she'll get lost in it." They laughed, fist bumped, two boys in a world that didn't care about them, promising to rise together. But dreams can be dangerous in places like this. Years later, Marcus was still grinding, working 2 jobs, fixing cars by day, guarding warehouses by night. Meanwhile, Dre had changed. The same boy who once dreamed of buying his mama a house now pulled up in a shiny black Benz, gold chains catching the sunlight. "Yo, Marcus," Dre shouted from across the street. "You still busting your back for crumbs? Bro, come ride with me." Marcus wiped his hands, stained with grease, and shook his head. "Dre, you know I ain't about that life. I'm trying to do this the right way." Dre laughed, the kind of laugh that cut deep. "Right way? Bro, the system's not built for us. You think they care about 2 kids from the block? Let me put you on one job. Quick money, no strings." Marcus hesitated. His eyes drifted to his worn-out shoes, then to Dre's car, sleek and shining like everything Marcus ever wanted. He sighed. "All right, one time, just this once." They shook hands, a handshake that felt like brotherhood. But Marcus didn't know it was the beginning of the end, because sometimes loyalty blinds you to the truth. Ominous music fades in. That night, as they drove through dimly lit streets, Marcus felt uneasy. Dre's phone kept buzzing. "Yo, you sure about this?" Marcus asked, gripping the steering wheel tighter. "Something don't feel right." Dre smirked, calm as ever. "Relax. Trust me, bro. When have I ever let you down?" But trust, this time, trust would cost Marcus everything. Pause. Music swells. The screen fades to black. Please like and subscribe to this channel. Some roads, you only realize it is one way after it's too late to turn back. The night was heavy. The kind of night where the air feels thick and every sound feels louder than it should. Marcus sat in the passenger seat of Dre's car, his knee bouncing nervously. The city lights blurred past as Dre drove, one hand on the wheel, the other glued to his buzzing phone. "Yo, you sure about this, Dre?" Marcus asked, glancing at his best friend. "Something doesn't feel right." Dre smirked, his gold tooth catching a glint of streetlight. "Relax, bro. I told you, this is clean. In and out. Quick bag, no stress." But Marcus's gut screamed otherwise. He wanted to trust Dre, he always had. Growing up, Dre had been the one person he could lean on, so he pushed the doubt down, the same way he always did. The car pulls into a deserted warehouse parking lot. Shadows linger. 2 men stand by a black SUV, faces hidden under hoodies. It was supposed to be simple. A quick drop-off, cash for goods, nothing more. But nothing in Dre's world ever stayed simple for long. They stepped out of the car. Dre dapped up the men like old friends. Marcus hung back, uneasy. "You didn't say it was going to be this deep, Dre," Marcus whispered. "Chill. Let me handle this," Dre muttered, stepping forward. Then it happened. A shout, a flash, a gunshot tore through the air like lightning. Marcus ducked instinctively, heart pounding in his ears. He turned just in time to see one of the hooded men drop to the ground, blood pooling beneath him. "What the hell, Dre?" Marcus shouted. Dre's face was stone cold. No panic, no regret, just calculation. "We gotta go. Now!" Dre barked. They ran to the car. Tires screeched. The engine roared as Dre sped through empty streets. At that moment, Marcus didn't know it yet, but his life as he knew it had already ended. Marcus gripped the dashboard, breathing hard. "Dre, tell me you didn't. Tell me this wasn't part of the plan." Dre didn't answer. His jaw tightened. His eyes locked on the road. Later that night, Marcus pulls into his driveway, shaken. Dre reassures him with a forced smile. "Don't worry, bro. I got you. Sleep it off. Tomorrow, this will all be behind us." Marcus watched as Dre drove away, taillights disappearing into the dark. He didn't see the small, cold object Dre had slipped into the glove compartment before leaving. A gun, wiped clean, except for Marcus's fingerprints. Trust can be a beautiful thing, until it's used as a weapon against you. Next morning, red and blue lights flash outside Marcus's house. Police sirens blare. Marcus steps outside in his boxers, confused. "Marcus Johnson?" An officer shouts. "Hands where we can see them. You're under arrest for murder." "Murder?" Marcus yells, stunned. I don't even own a gun." But the gun was already found, in his car, with his prints. Handcuffs clicked tight around his wrists. That night, Marcus thought he had a friend, but by morning, all he had was chains. Some betrayals cut so deep, you stop bleeding and start burning inside. The cold metal of the handcuffs dug into Marcus's wrist as he sat in the back of the police car. Sirens screamed all around him, but inside his head, there was only silence. Murder? This has to be a mistake. Dre's gonna clear this up. He has to. He replayed those words in his mind like a prayer as flashing red and blue lights reflected in his tear-filled eyes. Scene: jail cell. Marcus stares at the concrete floor, waiting. The next morning, Marcus's mother visited, her hands trembling as they touched the glass between them. "Marcus, they're saying you killed that man, that they found a gun in your car." "Mama, I swear on your life, I didn't pull that trigger," Marcus whispered, his voice cracking. Dre was there. He knows the truth. He's gonna fix this. But the thing about betrayal, it never comes from your enemies. Scene: courtroom. The tension is suffocating. Marcus sits at the defendant's table, his orange jumpsuit hanging loosely on his frame. The prosecutor stood tall, smirking as he spoke. "Ladies and gentlemen, the evidence is clear. Marcus Johnson was a shooter. And today, you will hear from a witness, a friend who will tell you the truth about that night." Marcus's heart skipped. He turned his head as Dre walked into the courtroom. Dre was dressed sharp, a suit gold watch, hair slicked back. For a second, Marcus felt relief. He came through, he's gonna save me. But Dre wouldn't look him in the eye. Marcus didn't know he was about to die, not a physical death, but the kind where your soul collapses in on itself. Seeing witness stand, Dre raises his right hand, swears to tell the truth. The prosecutor leans in. "Did you witness Marcus Johnson shoot and kill the victim that night?" Dre hesitates. His lips tremble, just for a second, then, "Yes." Marcus pulled the trigger. Gasps echo through the courtroom. Marcus's mother bursts into tears. Marcus slams his hands on the table, shaking his head violently. "Liar! Dre, you lying son of a..." Guards restrain him as the judge bangs a gavel. In that moment, Marcus's world shattered. He wasn't looking at his best friend anymore. He was staring at the man who buried him alive. Montage. The trial moves quickly. The jury delivers its verdict. We found the defendant, Marcus Johnson, guilty of second-degree murder. Marcus's knees buckle as the words hit him like bullets. "No, no, no, no." The judge's voice is cold and final. Sentenced to 25 years in prison. Scene: prison cell. Marcus sits on the edge of a metal bed, staring at his hands. The chains weren't just on his wrists anymore, they were wrapped around his soul. But then, something shifted in Marcus's eyes. A spark. They could steal his freedom, but not his fire. Marcus whispers to himself in the dark. If I ever get out of here, they'll all know the truth. Please subscribe to this channel. They thought chains would break him, but some men are too strong to stay broken. The first year in prison nearly destroyed Marcus. The nights were the hardest, lying in a cold metal bed, staring at cracks in the ceiling, replaying Dre's words in his mind. Yes, Marcus pulled the trigger. Those words felt like a knife twisting deeper every time they echoed in his head. He had trusted Dre like a brother, and Dre had traded him for freedom. Scene: prison yard. Marcus sits alone on a bench, head down as other inmates laugh and play cards. One day, an older man, Mr. Carter, sat beside him, a lifer, calm, wise, the kind of man whose presence commanded respect. "You keep staring at that dirt like it's gonna swallow you whole," Mr. Carter said softly. Marcus didn't respond. "Let me guess. Betrayed by someone you trusted." Marcus finally looked up, his eyes heavy with anger and pain. "My own brother. Not by blood, but it didn't matter. He put me here." Mr. Carter nodded. "Then you got two choices, son. Stay angry and let him win, or rise up and make sure the world hears your side of the story." That was the day Marcus stopped feeling sorry for himself and started planning his comeback. Montage: time passes. Marcus works out in the yard, his body transforming. He studies law books late at night, takes notes, helps other inmates write appeals. Marcus realized the system wasn't built for men like him, so he decided to learn the system, master it, and use it to claw his way out. Scene: prison library. Marcus flips through a thick folder of case files. His hands tremble as he stops on a page. There it was, security footage from the warehouse that night. Footage his original lawyer had never seen. In the grainy video, Dre's silhouette could be seen holding the gun, firing the shot. It wasn't just betrayal. It was a setup, and now Marcus had proof. Scene: visiting room. Marcus meets with a young public defender, Ms. Evans, who believes in his case. "Marcus, this video changes everything. I can file from Peel." Marcus clenches fists. "No, not yet. I need to get out. But when I do, Dre's gonna pay for what he did, and the whole world's gonna watch." They thought they buried him, but they didn't know he was a seed. Scene: prison gates. Years later, Marcus walks out, older, stronger, and determined. The sunlight hits his face as he takes his first breath of freedom. Marcus stepped out of those gates no longer a victim, but a man reborn. He whispers to himself as dramatic music swells. "Time to rise, and make Dre regret the day he betrayed me." Some men seek revenge to destroy, others seek it to rebuild. The air was heavy as Marcus stood outside Dre's mansion. It had been 6 months since his release. 6 months of silence. 6 months of planning. Dre thought Marcus was gone, buried in the prison system forever. But Marcus wasn't just alive. He was about to burn Dre's empire to the ground. Betrayal had taken everything from Marcus, but today he would take it all back. To loyalty, he smirks. Something these streets forgot about. But outside, a camera drone hovered, live, broadcasting everything to thousands online. Scene: Marcus in a dark van, watching Dre on a monitor. He speaks softly into a mic. "You thought you buried me, Dre, but I was the seed you planted, and now it's time for your harvest." Marcus wasn't here to pull a trigger. He was here to pull the truth into the light. Flashback montage. Clips of Dre testifying in court. Dre's hand wiping the gun clean. Dre's meeting with corrupt cops who helped set Marcus up. All uncovered by Marcus during his investigation. Dre didn't just betray Marcus. He betrayed his own soul, and now the whole world would see it. On screens across the city, the video began to play. Dre's friends looked up as Marcus's voice filled the room. "To the man who traded my life for his freedom, I hope the world sees you for what you really are. Dre Williams, you're under arrest for murder and perjury." A cop shouts. Dre's face twists from shock to rage to fear. As he's dragged out in cuffs, Dre locks eyes with Marcus, who stands calmly across the street. "Marcus, you set me up." Dre screams. Marcus doesn't flinch. "No, you set yourself up the moment you turned on me." Marcus didn't need revenge. The truth was punishment enough. "I was betrayed, locked up, and written off. But I'm living proof. You can rise, no matter who tries to bury you." Applause fills the room. A young boy in the front row stares at Marcus with wide, hopeful eyes. Sometimes the best revenge is showing the world you can't be broken. They try to destroy him, but Marcus didn't just survive. He became unstoppable.